Am I properly audible or much louder? Good afternoon and namaskar everyone. I Purvi Gohil from Genius English Medium School, and as sir has given a brief idea, my topic is Brainscape, the functional differences between adult and child brain. Now if I'll say something about my brain, that it remembers everything except where I keep my glasses and keys. It functions efficiently and accurately except when I need it the most. So now it's my brain's dysfunctioning, or I lack to communicate with it. Let us see. But here we are not going to see that how we can improve our intellectual level or how people can be more efficient. We are going to understand certain things that this is our journey during next coming 14-15 minutes. And my objective is, I find it that these functional differences are not only the biological factor, but it relates with our day-to-day life problem. I'll make it very simple for the people who are from the non-science background. Have you ever come across the things where you are trying to convey something, but the people who is beside you, if the person is not of your same age group, they could not relate with you. It's not that they cannot understand, they don't take you seriously, but they cannot relate with you. Especially it happens with us, no matter what age difference we have, but kids understand everything. They take our words, but they'll not follow us very seriously. When it comes, they'll follow their instinct only. So, same thing happens with me when I try to deal with my parents. So it's not only the generation thing or aging thing, but the brain has a certain structural and functional difference for a different age group. And I want to study them. So first of all, let us understand certain structural changes happens in our brain as and when we grow. So first thing is size and weight. Obviously, brain starts developing from the second week of the conception, and by the 9th month, we are able to see somewhat relevant structure which we identify as a brain. But by the age of 3 years, it acquires the 80% volume of an adult brain size, and by the age of 5 years, it acquires the volume of 90% of an adult's brain. Another difference is neural connection. Now for those who don't know what is neuron, they are a nerve cells like other cells in the body. But this neuron transforms the electric signals. Now I have electric equipment, I have electricity, but I don't have wires and switches. Will I able to use those things? Okay. So we need a synaptic connections for this neuron to transmit the information. So when baby is born, they have more than 100 billion neurons, which is more than in any adult brain. But they cannot perform a much complex task like an adult because they are lacking with the synaptic connections. They have just 2,500 synaptic connections per neuron, but by the age of 2, it gets increased by 15,000 per neuron. And then it starts reducing. Now this synaptic connection is responsible for fast learning, and they can learn multiple things, various areas. They can learn language also, they can develop motor skills also, they can learn gadgets also, they can do so many things which we are unable to do. So that is because of this synaptic connections, as you are able to see in these images. As the synapses are complexly involved with each other, their development is much faster and good. Another thing is, then unused synapses are getting destroyed, and then in an adult brain it is around 7,500. Now this whole process is called a pruning process. Another structural change which occurs in brain is this myelination. All the electric wires are insulated. Yes or no? Good afternoon. So this insulation prevents the energy loss, and it helps the faster transmission of the energy. This myelination is simply a fatty substance which covers the axon, this thread-like structure, and you are able to see in this GIF. Another change is plasticity. Now what is plasticity? It's brain's ability to change its structure if it comes across any kind of a bad memory or any incidences, then brains will change. Like if we are saying that a child will come across any kind of bad incidents, their brain will shrink. So this is the structural ability. Another what you are able to see that I'm going to discuss in further slide, that is functional plasticity. To my survey audience, I asked few questions as my method is survey and research methodology. Now I want you all to relate with it that first of all, what age do you consider as a childhood? That is a middle childhood age group by the Erikson's 7 stages of life. Then obviously children's adaptability is more. Then prominent development in kids is they are more creative, which we have seen in video also. The region which developed at last 39 said it's prefrontal cortex. We'll see the function of these things later on. What is developed more in adults, that is decision making and emotional control, the answer which I have received from the audience, and learning style, how it differs. So it varies from person to person. As you can see, the figures are almost mixed, 16, 12, 14. Now the functional changes which happens in our brain are these 4: neuroplasticity, cognitive function, emotional regulation, and social cognition. Neuroplasticity is when brain suffers from any dysfunctioning or injuries, the pre-existing neuron dies. And with the synaptic connections, they retrieve the lost information. This is called a neuroplasticity. Now pruning, neuroplasticity, synaptic connection, and the myelination is a process by which children are able to adapt and learn things more faster than us. Cognitive functions are the thing by which I think, learn, and perceive the things, how I resonate the things. So it depends by these 6 parts of the brain. Frontal lobe performs the function of decision making. Parietal lobe performs the function of sensory perceptions, how I can see the things and relate the things. Occipital lobe is my visual cortex. Cerebral and brainstem, they are my motor skills and involuntary functions like breathing and heartbeat. And temporal lobe is with my language and memory. So these all 6 things relate with each other and I perform the cognitive skills. This is very important for the teachers who are dealing with teenage kids. Emotional regulation. Sensory cortexes senses all the information, they transmit all the information which our body part senses, and it sends to the prefrontal cortex. And limbic system is a part which is responsible for my feelings and emotions. It sends all the feelings to the prefrontal cortex. Now here, limbic system gets developed by teenage and prefrontal cortex that gets developed by the age of 25. So there is a huge gap. So during this time period, they come across lots of emotions. But prefrontal cortex is not developed completely. They cannot take the rational decisions. So always we see that their emotional overrules their logic. And that's why they come across lots of hookups, breakups, emotional traumas. They feel this thing happens with me only. And we feel that it happens with the entire world. Then the social cognition. Social cognition is nothing but how I am able to express myself to others and how I am able to understand others' emotions or the way they talk. It is basically prefrontal cortex and temporal lobe. So it's related to language and emotions. How I can understand the people. Now based on there, I have differentiated the, it is not age group wise, but basically children are having a less attentive time span. They have less connections, so they can remember the things in fragment. They cannot remember the things in much detail. They struggle with, you can say, certain decision-making things. Where to go, exactly what to do. They take time to decide, and then also certain times they jump to the wrong decisions. Emotional regulations, they lack with certain clues, emotional clues. They can't control. If they cry like anything. No matter whatever we will explain, we cannot stop them. And social cognition is, as they struggle with complex language structures, they don't fit into certain societal norms. Kid will go and say that, my mother was saying that you are not a good cook. It happens. So, again, their sensory organs are developing, but they are very intense. They are more sensitive towards other distractions. We are not. Sleep is very important factor because as they sleep properly, their brain develops more properly. Language, as I have already discussed, they learn language very quickly, but they cannot deal with complex structures of a language. Motor control and coordination, we all know. It gets developed with the age. They are good. Risk taking here, whatever discussion we had for Nancy Madam's topic, one simple reply is, they don't have much vision as their decision making power is not developed. Another thing is they are more towards with instant rewards. They need certain kind of attention because we feel they are kids. They feel they are grown up. So if we will find certain things which can give them instant rewards, they will get the satisfaction. Book reading will not give them any kind of instant rewards. So that's why we should involve them in some physical activity, sports. So if they'll win, if they'll perform better, they'll get this kind of rewards. Now we feel that if child is able to remember the things, he or she is very good with learning. But learning is just not only remembering, it is a combination of these all things. They need to have good decision making, they need to have good cognition, they need to have good memory, they need to have good command over learning, language and emotions, good motor skills also. Based on this, I have categorized this learning style. It is not audio-visual and linguistic and kinesthetic. It's more generalized that infants will learn sensory motors and toddlers will learn imitatively. You can relate with it because toddler will speak exactly the same language which everyone is using in the house. So we need to focus is here, concrete and abstract conceptual learning. Because if we fail to give it to them, they won't be doing this in the college and their entire life. If they are not self-directive learners, they cannot learn new skills in their later part of the life. These are the difficulties which not only kids, but you, me, and everyone sitting over here are facing at different time of our life, managing responsibilities, struggling with emotions, decision makings. These are different time of life which face these difficulties. We always blame kids that they are using gadgets. But when I talked with these experts, as per them, Dr. Yagnesh Pathak, who was principal at Bowdin College, he wrote 4 books, many papers. He said it is not the only reason. Now the nurture of kids is such a way that they are more pickier, more choosy, they are more pampered. If they don't like the things, they are very much rigid. So we need to mold them in such a way, we need to divert them, but you need to put lots of effort. And that we cannot go with the whole group. It needs one-to-one approach. And I asked Dr. Vikram Oza, as if some kind of motor skills are not developed, what to do? So as per him, we need again a personal and very attentive approach.
Are you guys serious? Come on, this is family time. You're supposed to be talking to each other, not sitting there staring at a device. Come on, give them to me. Yes, hand them over.
It's fine, sir. The video is all about mother is coming and taking out all the gadgets, and she asked that it's a family time, you should communicate. Then father asks the kids, how was the school? Then 3 minutes passes, then he asks, what you have done? Again 3 minutes passes. So that means parents doesn't have anything to talk with their child. They don't have any other communicative things. So if we are taking gadgets from them, we should have also good alternative. If I want to prevent my child by doing something, I should give him the equivalent things. Nurturing secure attachment, my child should have a trust in me that if he or she is going to discuss any damn thing with me, I will be guiding them and not judging them. We need to develop the emotional and cognitive skill the way we are doing that, oh, give kiss to auntie, wish bye, are you going to miss me? I'm not able to open the drawer. This all are how we are developing their cognitive skills. And one most important thing is, if in childhood we will not identify any dysfunctioning or abnormal development, it cannot be rectified after certain age. So we should go and get a medical support. My conclusion is developing child goes under many significant changes, and if we identify the strength and limitations, we can provide the proper support and care. These are the references which I have used.
Brainstorming presentation. Brainstorming.
Thank you.
Amazing. Truly, like highly technical, and you have covered, and the way you have compared, it's really outstanding. Truly, put your hands together for her. Yes, audience.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, you are talking about the brain. You are talking about the brain stem. Can you please tell me? You are telling that that fine motor skill and gross motor skill are depending upon brain stem. Both the skills are depending upon that only. Fine motor skill and gross motor skill. Shukshma gati kaushalya.
Fine motor skill and gross motor skill
skills.
both are dependent on a brain's.
Yes, you told that. Is it true?
Fine motor skill and gross motor skill both are dependent on that. Means if you are talking my walking skill and all, that is based on cerebellum. You are asking the same thing? So I gave the answer. So fine motor skill is based on this, and that is barabar. Sorry, maybe. So maybe in flow I might have committed mistake.
Anybody else?
Nah. Yes, Jalpa madam.
Not allowed?
Surely you can.
Ma'am, in one of the slide you mentioned that by 2 years of age our synapses develop. Like there is so there would be a research that by 2 years, yes, this. So if we are knowing that by 2 years of age it develops, and if stronger the synapse, the more intelligent the child is. So is there any way like we can manipulate it, like we can have a child to have stronger synapse?
Yes, ma'am, we can. If child gets a proper sleep, I was a bit conscious what she will ask, but now.
Everybody.
Yes, ma'am, we can. If child sleeps properly, because during the sleep, the synaptical development occurs.
Okay.
It won't be when I am awake. So, and that's why if, I don't know how much scientifically it is good, but we used to give this nutmeg and all to the kids. We just paste it with the milk and we give them, so child will sleep. They won't be having this habit. 30 minutes, they'll wake up again. It won't happen. So that's why, and again, I have mentioned healthy habits. So that is also part of that. We can give them nuts, leafy vegetables. If you are consuming then oily fish and eggs, these all are the foods which develop the neurotransmission much faster.
Thank you.
I hope.
Yes, true.
Yes, Bharti
Yes,
madam.
Bharti
Again
madam.
the second.
Now we are in the last stage of the intellect meet. So like you will be having.
Is it correct that neurons die if they are not stimulated?
Yes, they die, and because like it's like a structure which are used more and more, they get the thicker synaptic connections. So, like kids forgets the things which they don't go back in their memory, right? The time travel which they are not doing, they'll forget those things. But the things which we are coming across every day, they'll fit in our mind, and we developed it as a habit.
So what is activities or something that you can suggest for keeping those neurons activated or stimulated?
Like for academics, I am suggesting kids that they should revise whatever they did today within 24 hours, then 6 days, then 15 days, then 1 month, and then 3 months. And by the time their final exam will be there, so.
Okay, I will add on to this. As you have seen, 0 to 2 years, most of the brain development of a child take place. What you can do is give more stimulating activities for better, development of the neurons, like gross motor scale, fine motor scales, and there are many such activities, solving the puzzle, color combination, segregation of colors, identifying different toy-based activities. So my son is very intelligent and on Google. Thank you.
So you have followed this.
Yes, I followed it.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, my last question is to you. Is there any technique to preserve the brain stem cells?
I don't know. It must be, but I am not
Yeah,
aware. Yes, Sylvia, ma'am. Means I heard that in foreign countries it is there, but I have not read it, so I don't have accurate information about it. I'm not aware, so I could not.
What is yours? Brainstorming.
Brain stem preservation, she is asking, but हाँ Jalpa ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
हाँ, so she is asking about brain stem only. That can we preserve brain stem?
We cannot preserve brainstem. Brainstem is a body part. What you are asking is stem cell. So stem cell we can preserve.
That we are doing right now also, in India also. Stem cell we are preserving. Even when we were having blood donation camp, they were also asking us to fill the form, those who are planning.
Stem cell we can isolate from bone as well. That is, for example,
Huh.
I want to preserve my stem cells, so I can isolate from my brain, my bones, or we can isolate it from umbilical cord, which we call Garbhanad. After delivery we throw it, but if we do not throw it and we store it, it would be a.
Stem cell I'm aware, but brain stem, no idea.
But complete brain can be?
No, sir.
Why? Einstein brain, 1955.
But we cannot reuse this.
Reuse.
Stem cell we are preserving to prepare a medicine and reuse and.
Reuse is not possible.
That's why I say to preserve something. Einstein brain is something completely different, but my brain.
Actually, what they are talking about stem cell and stem. Stem cells are those body cells which are enormously potential, and they have independent potential to develop into the entire individual. And basically most potent stem cells are the embryonic stem cells. So there is a lot of difference. I think altogether two different things we are discussing here, cells and stem. Stem is a just part of the brain, which is already specialized cells, so we should not confuse with that.
Thank you, sir.
Sylvia, yeah, you want to ask? Yes.
Ma'am, I think this is really engaging and it's going really technical. They really want to push you to that.
But means you understood or not?
But see, something that really intrigued me was when you were talking about the neuron connection. So it seems like you are talking about the integration of the experience, the emotions that needs to be to make a stronger bond. Maybe let's take an example. To lose less time, let's take off Nancy ma'am's what she said about the situation in the canteen. So let's say that when we are told something, we follow it, okay? And that is a certain connection we form. And when we experience it together, you are saying that it's a stronger bond. And suppose, okay, let's say that situation again. She's saying that I am eating the food properly, but the teachers are not eating it. So now I was finding it very interesting that about how strong the positive emotions make it. Now I see this here, a certain bit of negative emotion where they are not doing it, unhappy about it. So like what sir was saying, oxytocin, it is a very strong, I feel it is a very strong emotion that makes a very deep connection. What do you think, which will be more strong, where you are not imposed, but they know it is good? Okay, so nobody has to tell them, they do it, they eat the food, and they say, I feel really good about it, so they don't have to tell anybody. Which one do you think is stronger?
Madam, imposing won't work for longer period of time in any age group. Whether it's infant, whether it's adolescents, or it is young adult. If we have not been imposed, how many of us are going to present this?
I'm saying
So
the
imposing,
indication.
my point is, we need to explain them the way madam has explained. And first thing, they learn by observing. So again, if I'll tell them that to prepare food, to grow a seed and to get a food, it will take 145 days, it doesn't matter to them. Because they have not worked for 1 hour also. So they'll not value 145 days work effort. But if you will take them to some orphanage or some people, and if you will make them converse with them, if you will show them certain people, like a way back I have shown this video of throwing things in a water, that this sea animals are drinking and eating everything from there, and lots of fishes were dying because of this plastic waste.
Yeah.
So these things can touch their hearts and they'll stop doing it.
No, I don't mean it to go personal and like, create those situations, but I'm saying the experience and emotion together, positive emotion together, or without the experience of it.
No, experience and emotion
so which
will
is a
only
stronger
work.
bond? I just wanted to know that much.
Experience and emotion will work. Any kind of rule won't be working, and especially with the teenage kids. Toddler may follow you because either they are scared or they don't think much. But when they turned out 10 or 11 years.
Thank you. That
Great,
really
ma'am.
helped.
Excellent. Outstanding. Huh? You follow your heart, but you keep your brain with you. You follow your heart, in short, but you keep your brain with you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Any question? Yes, sir.
Not a question, but yes, conclusively, much of the discussion was post-discussion, post-presentation discussion moved towards the cognitive development and cognitive development of cognitive skills. I had mentioned yesterday, I'll mention it again. Most of you must go through this book of Jean Piaget. He's the father of the psychology. And he has presented n number of activities and experiments on the cognitive development stages and the brain development stages of child at every age level. And yes, there were many questions about activities as well. So Jean Piaget will also help you in,
Many things.
many activities. And these activities are even used by psychologists.
Yes.
So
and it's for different skills, different activities.
different skills, different activities. Most of these activities are metaphysical, but there are also mental activities to improve egocentrism in during their cognitive development stages. So a good presentation at the end.
Excellent. Outstanding. Put your hands together for her.